Welcome back to the Fraud Street Fandom Podcast. After a extended hiatus, we all took a couple weeks off for various vacations. I was traveling for work and pleasure, mostly pleasure, and it was we just decided let's take a little bit of a break. The only thing that's really going on is the end of playoffs for basketball and hockey, and a couple drafts upcoming, and the Phillies just so we basically took a couple weeks off all of June for the most part. So we'll basically be recapping what's happened in June, um, the other sports, NHL, NBA, as well as some NFL news, kind of bringing us up to speed. We got some good mailbag entries and questions. We'll cover that, as well as some feedback we got on the socials. And maybe we'll have a little surprise at the end of the episode. So stay tuned. So for this week's episode, our neighbors, Matt and Heidi, actually, Heidi is from Williamsport. So they actually brought me some beer of New Trail Brewing. So this is a Lazy River Pils. So I'll enjoy this during the podcast. And then I got a backup one once I'm finished with this one, the Trail Marker West Coast IPA. So shout out to Matt and Heidi. Thanks for the donation. I'll enjoy this during the episode.
Yeah, that one seems right up my alley. West Coast IPA is what I fucks with. So.
Yeah, there you go.
It also looks like a story or Sierra Mist.
It does, yeah. The can colors with the green and yellow. So, but yeah, I appreciate you guys bringing those down to me.
Yeah. I'm rocking with the OG. Miller Lite.
And I took a little break, hiatus of my own of beer because I drank entirely too much this weekend. So
Brock took too many beers on his vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come back, reset.
So yeah, all right, let's dive right into it. So Phil's, like I said, it's been about a month, so it covered basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 series. So right before we left, they were about to go on the road, face Toronto, and then to end the weekend with Pittsburgh. So terrible.
Yeah, not great.
They won the first game against Toronto, and then continued to lose the next 5, including a sweep from the Pirates.
Yeah.
I think the the games there were 5-4 and then 2-1, 2-1. So it's not like we're still getting pretty good pitching outings. Just runs or they're not scoring runs.
I guess a team like that just can't happen.
Yeah. So, and I think right before we left, Kevin had a nice comment about the upcoming Cubs series. So he was just looking forward to a really fun series of 2 competitive teams. Well, I appreciate Kevin putting our season right back on track. So we were able to take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs.
And I was at one of the games. I was at the 9th, the 11th inning game. Yeah, that's
nice. So
I was like, God, Kevin, we beat you.
Yep. Don't bash on him too much. You might lose a fan.
I just said the one, but yeah.
So, but no, it's good to it's one of those teams you're going to be competing with. They have one of the best teams in the league, so being able to take 2 of 3 from them is huge.
Their offense is crushing.
Yeah, very much so.
Especially half that series. Half went insane that series.
Yeah, half went off. He got gone this.
And if I had to guess, he's on my bench during fantasy during that week. So go figure. Yeah. So after the taking 2 or 3 from the Cubs, we follow it up with a little revenge for the Blue Jays at home. We sweep them, so we take 3 from them. Going into the next week, we're down in Miami, 4-game series. Took 3 there, so 3 or 4 of Miami. As we've mentioned many times before, that's what you got to do against those teams. Come back home against the Mets on the weekend. Take 2 or 3. I mean, that was a huge series at the time. We're still competing with the Mets in the division, and you got to get rid of that feeling of you just can't beat this team. So having a series at home, I think the guys were pretty pumped up for it. And Luzardo pitched a really good game, and you could see the emotion there. And it had it's stupid to say this early in the season, but it was like playoff implications of So. That was good. They followed that up with, unfortunately, getting swept by the Astros. I think I saw something somewhere where the Astros have been on a tear of just like NL teams.
Yeah.
If they sweep us, I'm pretty sure they swept the Cubs or they took 2 or 3 from them, and then they just either
I think they
2 or
just-
3
they
or
sweep
swept the
over there.
Dodgers. Yeah.
I think they swept.
So over that span of like top ranked NL teams, they've just
Yeah, well, I mean, even that series, right? Like we lose 1-0 the first game, 2-0 the second game, and then 2-1 the third game. So
Yeah.
like the whole
the
series,
pitching was
there
great
only
again.
five
Which,
runs
speaking
by
of,
the Astros and 2 runs by the Phillies. Like
and then
that's
speaking of
insane.
how we played the Mets, that's looked like us playing the Astros again. We just break down and do, and the offense just goes dead together,
Yep.
all together. So,
Now they did go up against their top
pitching.
pitching staff, but that's who you're going to go up against in the playoffs if
Yeah.
you make it there. So
Oh, yeah.
it would be nice to see a little bit of life, out of the offense.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get swept by the Astros, and then we go down to Atlanta, another team that we were all banking on them like to turn it around once Acuna came back, but they just haven't done so. I mean, we take 2 of 3 from them, so another series win against a team that you want to make sure you keep them buried.
Yeah. Scored 13 in the first game if they're not scoring.
Yeah, Trey had a monster game. They were joking about
that's what he does.
So he had 2 home runs, but the last one they were joking about him, deliberately missing home base or home plate so he can actually get a triple instead, so he gets the cycle. And I was like, that would be nuts. But there would be a little asterisk by that. But good game by Trey, and he's actually been really good this June. Just which anybody around him would help.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, after the Braves, we have the Padres. They came into town. We took 2 or 3 from them, and then we finished up this last weekend against the Reds, another 2 out of 3.
Sure.
So all in all, it was a pretty mediocre month. It had some ups and downs in there. We finished up 17 and 14.
17 and 14 since we last recorded.
Yeah. So
I mean, there were some good teams in there, right? Like Toronto, they're leading the East right now in the AL. Like the Cubs, they're leading the NL Central. The Mets, they're
the Astros,
right?
Yeah,
The Astros are leading their division. So like, it's not like we were
Padres,
playing.
there's some good teams.
Terrible teams. Like we playing really good baseball teams. Like it wasn't an easy.
I mean, the Marlins are a third place team, and we took 2 out of 3 against them.
Yeah.
3 out of 4 against
them. I mean, the
them.
tough ones losing to Pittsburgh, but I mean, Pittsburgh repaid the favor by just sweeping the Mets. It's like,
I said something like that on there. Talking about Phillies fans were just like, I mean, obviously we get happy if the Mets lose, whatever, but they were like talking shit about them getting swept, and I was like, we just got swept 2 weeks ago by the same.
Yeah, but we got swept 5-4, 2-1, 2-1.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the Mets got swept like 30 runs.
Oh yeah, they got blown out. Yeah, that's what they said. They said it was the fashion they got blown out. I'm like, but we still lost the same teams. I'm like, I ain't gonna really talk that much shit.
I'll take it. I will take the 5-4, 2-1, 2-1 losses as opposed to 19-4 or whatever some of those games were. So a couple of, I guess, highlights over that span. So around the Marlins series, Castellanos gets, taken out of the game for a defensive replacement. So
whatever
it's not something that we typically see with him. It's others that we have in the outfield, but Topper takes him out, puts defensive replacement in there, and I guess he didn't care for it.
He didn't. He plays every day that he can, and he's got that.
Well, that's evident. Yeah. So basically, he has an inappropriate comment. Basically, probably in the dugout or whatever.
Wish we knew what he said.
Yeah, it doesn't come out of what he actually said, but I'm sure it was enough to get him benched. So the next day, Topper benches him. It ends his 236 game consecutive start streak. So it's pretty apparent that there was something there.
I called Rob not a very nice word on Twitter. So.
Yeah, I mean, but kudos to Rob, because he could have just let that go, and now you have turmoil in the locker room or dugout or whatever. But actually putting your foot down and saying, I'm the manager, that's not how we do things.
Yeah,
I don't care if you're going up, you're just as close to Cal Ripken's streak, but you're sitting down for the day.
So years behind.
Yeah, a couple years behind, but hey, you know what? It's a streak.
Yeah.
So, but no, and then what came out of that was Casty was like, all right, well, show me my, defensive metrics. Let me know how I can get better.
Yeah.
And basically they came to the conclusion that, you got to fucking hustle. And I don't know if you guys remember like last year or the year before, like he literally came out and said, sometimes, during the regular season, it's difficult to kind of get up for every game.
Yeah.
So he's more of a, relaxed out there. So, there's probably some truth to it. And it's not
I
to
feel
say
like
that
right
we
field
have
though
one
has
of the
always been a position you kind of can put someone like that in, right? Because you obviously want center to be
the guy's
center.
going to
That's why
cover.
we
Yeah.
always do the defensive placement there, and then left field obviously when you throw Marsh over there. So I don't know, right field always seems like
Well,
the
yeah, speaking of comments by outfielders, the left fielder ain't feeling too hot
Oh
right
yeah.
oh
Well,
yeah,
that's next
that
on
episode,
that's
yeah,
next on
that's a
my
nice
list.
that was
So
a
sorry,
nice
nice
before
little
we
segue.
before we
nice
jump
segue.
off Casty,
Yeah,
kudos to him because the next night, after he got benched, the next
Hmm.
night he made the game-winning catch at the
Hmm.
wall, and was actually like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah.
So like,
yeah,
there he's like, you know what? Fucking let me play outfield when I'm out here.
Well, it might
Don't,
have fixed two things there. It might have
yeah,
fixed just the environment in the dugout, if there is
yeah,
one, of Topper just not having control of this team or whatever.
yeah,
So it might have fixed that, and then maybe hey, we get a more focused Casty
yeah.
in right field. So I'm not saying that he's going to be a Gold Glove outfielder, but you know, I don't know.
I mean, you
I
never
don't
will,
see
right?
the
Like
I
he's
don't
not that
see
guy
the
for the rest
necessary.
of
I
the
know
season.
he's slow as fuck when it comes to
Yeah,
like balls going down
yeah.
the line. It's like, is he ever going to get there? But
Catches too
he
much
is what
draft
he
in his
is.
extra large jersey.
I
That's why.
guess, yeah. No, it's his jersey
they
that's like
never won.
he only has it
Yeah,
buttoned to the top. To,
Got a fucking parachute around his chest.
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, nice segue to the other outfielders. So, Mr. Kepler, again, I'm losing patience with him. I was actually high on him, and I still kind of am. But at this point, it's just like, all right, dude, you're killing me now.
All right, yeah.
So he comes out and he says he's frustrated with his lack of playing time, saying that basically, when he signed the 1 year deal, that he was promised that
Yeah,
he would
every
be the
day.
everyday starter. So I guess the problem is, I looked at a couple stats here. So I had the splits between his righties and the lefties. So basically, he starts against the righties. I think every game that we had a right-handed starting pitcher, he started. Um, and then the lefties, he's only played a handful. So of the 214 at bats that he has against righties, he has a 210 average, a 316 on base percentage, and a 388 slugging percentage. So not good at all.
not good.
So if you're not performing against righties, which is what you're supposed to do,
Yeah.
why the hell are they going to play you against lefties? Do you think that's going to fix the problem? So in his 47 at bats against lefties, his average is actually a little bit better. 213 as opposed to 210. 255 on base, 340 slugging. So those two numbers are down a little bit more, but I mean, all around, he's not good.
No,
Like he's not performing at all. And you have at the time, Harper goes out on the IL. You know, he was out. I think it was June 5th is when they put him. Basically, inflammation in his wrist, injury that he had last year. So
yeah, he came back after getting hit in the elbow. Came back for a game or two, and I was like, I got to take some time off.
Yeah. So basically, it's the same wrist that he had issues with last year. So give him some time. And at that time they bring up Otto Kemp, and Otto Kemp was kind of just bouncing around different spots in the field. I mean, he was playing third, he was playing
would have played
first, left field. Yeah.
Harper was
So that opens up okay, Otto Kemp comes in. Now he's splitting time with Kepler. But during the time that Harper was out, like he was playing first in some of the other positions. And I know I messaged you guys a few times of like, you could tell that he's not a first baseman just based on a few plays. Like there would be like little dribblers down third base and Bones charging to throw it to first. And you find him either on the back side of the bag or the middle of the bag. And I'm like, as a first baseman, get your ass on the corner, the front corner, because that little bit of room that you have is going to be enough to either get them out or make it at least closer. So there was two plays I know for a fact that I messaged both of you guys about.
Yeah.
And then it was funny because it was like once Harper gets back, there was a play a couple of days ago, and what do you see? It's like he's actually in the front corner of the bag. It was a close bang bang play, and they got him out. So it was like it's nice to see a quality first baseman again. But regardless of that, Kemp's actually done pretty well when he's come up. And limited, at bats and things like that. But it's a change of pace from Kepler, and he can't be any worse in the outfield than him. But he's not going to be any worse batting right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I think when we started this, it was right before the season started, and I wasn't very super stoked about them signing Kepler. Like I didn't think too much of them.
Yeah.
This is way worse than I expected. I expected at least like 230, right? Like,
so no, it just seems like
230.
I felt like a nice change of scenery thing would maybe
Nah,
get
this
him.
dude's fucking trash, and then he's running his mouth like, bro, get this guy.
But I kind of get what he means, just like a little bit. Like you would hope if after he said it, it would, it would pan out for him. But like he is saying, like playing every day that's how I'm going to figure out what's wrong and fix it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you're not fixing it, so
Right. Yeah,
shut
and
up.
it's and that's the thing. It's like, all right, well, show us that we're wrong or prove it,
yeah.
and it's just not happening. So I think it's going to be a continuation of a platoon. Hopefully, like I said,
Absolutely.
Kemp continues to, improve just against major league hitting or pitching, major league pitching.
But I mean, like also like Marsh has since
He's actually been
the
doing
beginning
really
of June,
well.
like
Yeah,
he's been batting very well. So like he's earned his spot to play. Like
right.
he's getting those at bats against the lefties when Kepler's out. But I mean, he's at least taking advantage of it, right? Like Kepler's still doing dog shit when he's supposed to be performing well, and he's just not.
Yeah, exactly.
So like it's very rightfully so that he is sitting on the bench and very much to play more. And then even throwing out a Kempin left out there, like it just makes more sense.
Yep, absolutely. So
yeah, not putting Schwarber out there. They did that one random.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
like
like, every time they do that
we
shit, I'm
don't
like,
do that.
stop. I'm like, he's gonna get hurt. He cannot run like that. Stop doing it.
So speaking of Harper, he struggled so far. He's come up against the Padres, so it's 6 games that he's been back. The other day, he struck out 4 times in a row. So just doesn't. I know
He's
very streaky, but it seems like he's just not back. So
I mean, he didn't have any rehab games. He was just sitting on the batting cages. He was taking BP.
Yeah,
he was fielding. Like he hasn't had opportunities to come back since his hand.
And then he mentions that injury is gonna be lingering.
Yeah, so he was saying it's something that's not going to go away. So he's just got to deal with it. Maybe there's something for surgery in the off season, but you hopefully can just.
Year, though, like,
well, that's the thing. It's like we're halfway through his.
I know,
like his.
I thought we wouldn't see him
contract
until after the All-Star break. I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they didn't rush him back against the Mets just because it was the Mets. Give him the extra time. I mean. The time he was out, we basically were 500 team. So
yeah, he was out from June 5th was the last game he played until he came back June 30th.
Yeah. So and I think
and they tried to share the stat that like the team is better with him gone or
I think it's just the record of the team.
The record
very similar with him or with him. But
right.
Obviously, Bryce means a lot to the team.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of guys there they see him out and they just try to. Like whether it's Schwarber or Turner, but it's like no, they were actually doing well. Like there was a time where Schwarber had the team that was on his back and not to mention like the pitching's been really good over the last 2 years for the most part. Yeah. So, but even during the times that he's been out, so I mean, are you guys worried?
Not really. I mean, if the team's still winning games, then like that's all that really matters.
Yeah,
right? Like Harper will get going again. Just give him some more time. I mean, obviously.
I mean, it wasn't him for power before he went out either. It was like he was. I think he was close to. I think he was close to batting 300. Like he was more of just getting on base, doubling guys in, that kind of thing. But it wasn't the the home run production.
But he's got the hustle factor too. If he'll run first, for a single to a double easily, like
and pitchers have to worry about.
Yeah,
it
makes the rest of the lineup too, because you're like shit Schwarber, but then fuck Harper's there behind him, and then of course they go, oh Bone's there, like know.
Well, and speaking of the lineup, we'll have to give an update next week. We'll do our half year. They did.
They gave up.
Moved him down. So
Turner's leading off every day.
Yeah, well, make sure research a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, Stott obviously he has not been great at the plate recently.
No,
I mean, last night he hit the home run. But like he's just not hitting well, so they have to pull him out of the lead.
He apparently had a fan apparently yelled at him behind the dugout, and Cassiano.
You weren't at the game, right?
I was not at the game.
Right,
that was not me. But the Stott was getting yelled at, I guess, and Nick turned around and Nick was yelling at the fan about whatever they said to Stott.
I guess one of the other fans in that area was saying that they heard it, and the guy it was pretty bad what he was saying.
And then Rob said after the game that Nick was yelling to defend Stott.
Yep.
So Cassie was not having a moment. He was actually.
I wasn't sure.
Yep. Yeah, it was basically defending the guys.
He's screaming at the fans. And like, here we go, Sirianni.
He was yelling at him and trying to tell him someone to get him out of there.
But yeah, I mean Harper, he's batting 252 right now, 9 home runs, 34 RBIs, and he's got 230 at bats. He's probably played like 45, 50 games.
Yeah.
Right, because we're on 90 so far this season, and he missed pretty much a whole month.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about Harper. Like, he'll get it going. Just give him some time.
Yeah,
he'll be fine.
It just sucks not seeing him when he doesn't play like that.
We'll talk in August and see, but hopefully he's at least turned some production on and
Mhm.
getting ready for a playoff push and playoff run. So
Yeah.
McAble, he had a he had a really bad start at there, his last one where I guess he couldn't find the strike zone. So they optioned him down to the minors. It is tough, especially one of those things where that was always one of the knocks on him was that he has good stuff, but can you throw strikes?
Yeah.
And so they optioned him back down to the minors. So that brings our good friend Taiwan back in the starting rotation.
How he's
So
hanging
but I mean, he hasn't been terrible in the bullpen. He hasn't been great, but there's other guys that
I don't get the point of putting him in the bullpen though, and where he can pitch multiple innings. It's like they just go one inning.
well, I
He's
think
he should be a lone guy.
I think they wanted Nick to be that guy until
Yeah.
Nola came back. But you can't have a guy that walks 4 or 5 straight people or whatever it ended up being. So you got to be able to throw strikes, and I don't think Painter's ready. He's struggling down in AAA, so it's like, all right,
And then with the trade deadline coming up, Abel doing that, it makes
it kind of hurts his trade.
hurts all that hype that people thought he had.
It may not. I mean, he's still young, and
He's still very
other
young,
people might look at it like, okay, maybe it hurts the value. You got to throw another piece in, but it may still be an attractive person to go after.
Because they thought about sending him to Baltimore for Batista. That was the big talk. So
Yeah. I keep hearing the Pirates also.
Oh yeah, for Santana and the other guy.
tried fighting the fan.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, he actually jumped up there and fucking swung at him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
He was one of those guys I had on my potentials for a couple weeks back. So
Yeah.
I might actually hit one. Should put some money on it.
I love that shit, though. I'm just like, yeah, I wonder what he said to piss him off that much. Unless it was something, ignorant. But I mean, if it's just talking about his performance on the field and he got that mad, I'd be like,
well, in Philly, he'll be a whole dugout down. So he'll be a whole bullpen.
Yeah.
Have to jump real fucking high. Or a fan has to fall in.
Yep. Yeah. So I guess some June highlights I wanted to touch on. The pitching staff I know we mentioned was very good. They have been very good.
Wheeler,
so Wheeler's numbers just in the month of June. So in 5 games, he had 31 innings pitched. Only 2 earned runs in that whole month.
Like
It was nuts. 7 total walks, 42 Ks, and a .58 ERA.
Yeah,
absolutely insane.
Nice.
Ranger 6 games, 41.2 innings, 6 earned, 7 walks, 36 Ks, 1.3 ERA. And Sanchez 5 games, 34 innings pitched, 7 earned, 6 walks, 33 Ks, 1.85 ERA. So between those 3, I mean, it's evident that when you're going into those games where it's 2-1 and 3-1, it's like the pitching's keeping games where they need to be. So it'd be nice to have both doing the same. I guess on the hitting side, 2 highlights I want to touch on because I know we've killed both these guys quite a bit. Turner, 27 games, 112 at bats. He's got 20 runs, 32 hits, 8 doubles, 6 home runs. It's actually Tyler Schwarber in June. Yeah. 14 RBIs, which is down, but it's like he's the only guy that's getting on base, it seems. So it's hard to knock guys in when you're the only one. And plus you're probably leading a lot of innings off.
Yeah.
6 stolen bases, 286 average. So he's actually been doing really well. And then Brock's boy. Yeah. Brock's boy Boom, 27 games, 103 at bats.
He's doing a little better.
8 runs, 31 hits, 4 doubles, 2 home runs. So we're not seeing a lot of extra base hits out of him. 16 RBIs. Again, I think it's very similar to what Turner has. It's just there's nobody on base.
Yeah.
But he does have those times where he comes up. He was up with the bases loaded the other day and struck out looking. So it's in a game where I think at the time we were tied 2-2 or 1-1 or something like that. I can't remember which game it was. Yeah. So it's like that's where you're hoping, like, all right, come through, like a little, put the ball.
Maybe a little fire under him.
Maybe you did. I mean, you brought him up to.
Think about that one asshole was sitting 3 rows behind him.
Yeah.
So
you're
welcome, Alex.
He's batting 301 over the month. So I mean, like I said, he's been doing well. So keep bashing him. Evidently, it's working. So, or you can just buy his jersey, whatever you want to do.
No.
So, as we mentioned, over the month that we were gone, the Phillies were 17-14. The Braves, which we keep putting in our kind of like division, I guess, forecast, just because we think they should be there. I think it's about time that we might just stop following them because they went 12-19 over the same span. They're 13 and a half games out of the division, and they're 9 games out of the wild card. So it's almost time now where, I mean, do you guys see them going after anybody in the trade deadline?
They said there was a little talk about maybe they should, but it's just like they're healthy. Like they do have everybody
They
back,
are, right.
except for the pitching staff is a little hurt.
Yeah, but with that lineup, you should be able to score some freaking runs, you know?
Yeah.
So I think Austin Riley's not doing great this year. Matt Olson's been better. I think
Acuna's been on fire.
Yeah,
like he's been great since he's come
hitting
back.
everything. He's doing all right.
Matt Olson made the All-Star team. Acuna made the All-Star team. That's fan great. And
it's also in Atlanta, yeah. So,
but yeah, I mean, I think it's like Strider isn't where he was. Chris Sale's on the IL for.
Yeah, it's a little karma.
He got hurt on that stupid dive.
Yeah,
I texted Boo. You know, he's a Braves fan, and Chris Sale dove for a ball.
Like, oh, really?
Just for a grounder, and I sent him the video. I was like, I don't know why he's doing this in a regular season game. Yeah. And he was like, he'll be fine. Next thing you know, boom, he's hurt. And I was like, see? I said, that would piss me off if any of the Phillies pitchers did that. I'm like, that out's not that important right now. Playoff game, sure. Yeah, dive all you want.
I don't know, you say that, but it's like, I know Phillies fans, he would get crushed by
Philly fans.
Yeah, he doesn't do that, yeah.
I get it.
That's like running to first. It's like, oh, they didn't, like.
I mean, it just sucks, right? Like, they don't have Sale out there. Obviously, the Cy Young winner last year. Strider just getting back, isn't back to where he was before, Tommy John. Acuna's coming back. He hasn't necessarily turned it all the way back on.
Oh, no, he's been pretty good.
Did they lose another pitcher to Tommy John this year? They lost a younger kid, right? Yeah.
I can't remember.
It's not Schwanenbach, it's somebody else, but they lost one of them.
Yeah, he was one of the young kids that they had.
But either way, like, I just don't think, like, if I was in the Braves organization, there's no chance to make a run at it this year. Like, just get healthy, get your guys back, and then maybe do something in the offseason. But I mean, they don't necessarily like. They don't
the only thing
that
the only thing that they could actually do is maybe the opposite: trade one of your guys.
Acuna, maybe trade Acuna. But
yeah, I mean,
who else are they going to trade? They're not trading Acuna. They're not trading Albies. They're not trading Olsen.
Because their contracts are all
Riley.
Good for.
They're not trading Sean Murphy. Like Michael Harris Jr. is probably
that guy.
Traded. Like,
look at Sean Murphy.
Michael Harris.
That dude's been a bum forever, and it's like he just wants to crush the Phillies now. Like,
yeah. So I just don't see like any moves that they can make. I think they're pretty much going to have to be idle. Yeah. If anything, if they do trade, they're going to get rid of Ozuna. And they have that young shortstop that they called up. He's been very good defensively, but I don't think he's doing much offensively.
Yeah.
So like they're kind of just,
I mean, you got
non-competitive.
It's very similar to what we say about the Phillies. It's like, all right, you got big ticket guys in the lineup. It's time for them to produce.
Yeah.
And they don't have the pitching that we have currently that is keeping us afloat, I guess you would say, with the games that we're not scoring runs. So. And then, over to the Mets, over the same time span, 15 and 17. So, it seems like we keep very similar trends. I think during this month, there's a time where we were 4.5 games behind them in the division. And then they went on I think it was a 7-game losing streak.
They were
right before us.
So,
yeah. So, I mean, 15, 17 overall. So,
May, I think May was when they lost like 9 or 10 straight, didn't they?
Well, there was a time in June, where they lost 7 straight. Yeah, I think it was like 1-10 or 1-11 was the actual run that they had. So over the weekend, they played the Yankees, who are also, not playing like crap right now. They won 2 or 3 against them, but today we are, a game and a half up on the Mets, and the Mets are actually 3 games up in the wild card. So we're both positioned pretty well at this point, almost halfway through the season to, be in a playoff spot. So I think that's the team that we're going to be contending with, and then we should just probably look at the wild card, and, our Braves updates might just be
all right. So I have it in front of me. Reynaldo Lopez, Smith-Schwarber, and Schwallenbach and Sale all on the 60-day.
So he's on a 60-day IL with broken ribs.
Well, he might not be out the whole 60, but that's what they put him.
60.
I mean, I can't imagine pitching with broken ribs.
I thought it was broken rib, great. But fractured left rib cage was the injury.
Yeah, I can.
So, yeah.
I guess I could see how that would be difficult to come back.
I mean, he's also 35, 36 years old,
Yeah.
36. So it's not like a young, spry kid that's going to be able to try and
Right.
kill it, right? But
And plus, having to pitch is a little different than
yeah,
some
and
other
especially
positions.
him, the way he fucking jumps out and
Yeah.
sidearms it. It's got to be difficult. But yeah, so I mean, that's goes to show why they're not competing. They had 4 of their starters on opening day or on 60 day now.
Yeah.
And then obviously you had Strider start the year on the IL,
He was
come
on the
back,
IL,
then went
yeah.
out again, and came back. So
Mhm.
yeah, not the season we anticipated for the Braves this year for sure.
No, our money was definitely on them.
Yeah.
So the upcoming series before the All-Star break, we have 2 left. We have the Giants away, and then we finish up with the Padres away. So
Yeah.
3
That's
games
good
with
for 'em.
each. Yeah. So we'll see what they can come back. Get a nice little break and start it off. So I think next week we will kind of give an update of kind of what we thought of the first half and what we think is going to happen in the second half. Clearly, we're experts in this. So just look at our predictions to the start
I
of the
was just
season.
talking about mine.
Yeah.
Oh man, mine were so bad.
Actually,
They
let's
were
do that.
decent on the NL. Mine were so bad on the AL.
Let's do that. Next week we'll do the
It
updates
goes
of.
to show I don't know shit about the AL, but the NL I was kind of
There you go. All right.
-3.
Yep.
But and Mets.
Yeah.
I also
clearly.
need to take,
Yeah. Did your bet
take the old
did your
lady
bet
out for
yet?
a steak dinner.
There you
Oh
go.
yeah, the 40 wins, right? They're already there.
I want to know what day that
Unfortunately,
was.
It was indeed.
Really, the
Isn't
only
Jim?
news we have about our division is the Nationals firing their GM and
GM,
manager.
manager.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, so the MLB draft is what, next week or 2 weeks from now? It's very close to like what the GM getting fired. I don't know if that really.
Yeah, because I
That's
think don't
interesting, but-
they have the first pick or they will or
And
something like. And
I
now they have
honestly
no one
think
to-
that the Nationals, like, they don't do terrible with bringing in talent.
No, they just can't
Like,
sign
they
them.
don't sign the talent. They
Mhm.
sign Strasburg and then let everyone else go.
Yeah.
And then even the trade you made, we were talking about earlier,
Yeah,
right?
the
Sending
Soto-
Soto to San Diego, you're bringing in James Wood, CJ Abrams, Mackenzie Core.
They got a
That's
good
your next core of your team.
You can
And
you
those
say
guys
they
are good.
you can say they've won that trade because San Diego
Yeah.
doesn't have either one of those guys now.
Yeah. So I think that I don't think he did a terrible job. It's just their team just doesn't want to
I
pay
mean,
players.
they even won.
Right.
They even won right after losing Brace
Yep.
with the same
Yeah,
manager.
exactly.
Like,
So-
it's very, it's odd timing. I mean,
I
they obviously-
understand.
they're dead last in division, so it's
Yeah, I understand firing their manager. But
right.
their general manager, I just don't agree with it.
It could be just the Soto thing though, losing like him. It could just be get rid of those guys, like the big names. Like people probably just are getting tired of like why we keep letting these guys go.
Or
Like
maybe the GM's
Well,
like,
that's the
hey, you got to
ownership,
pay
though.
guys. And
Yeah.
the ownership's like,
That's the
I don't
That's
want to
right,
pay
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
I'm tired of hearing you complain about it. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's the
Yeah.
message,
But I think their GM's for pretty fucking well at evaluating talent and bringing guys in, right? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
we keep taking all the guys and
We'll sign them to our big
$300
hit.
million. So
James Woods, look forward to you playing
Plus,
yeah.
they traded that
right
was
field for us.
that
It's gonna be
Lane
a
Thomas.
stud.
Didn't they have the Lane Thomas guy? And they traded him to Cleveland. So that was another prospect they had that
Yeah.
that you thought would be good, and they were like, "See ya."
Mhm. So yeah, like I said, we're about a week away from, I guess you'd say the halfway point
I mean,
of
we're
the
already
season.
past with games, but
That's
yeah.
I did the quotations. We missed that, and all of our listeners.
I saw it. I saw it.
So, but yeah,
Check us out on YouTube,
quotations.
Brian's
Yeah,
air quotes.
my air quotes. Yeah, halfway through the season, so we'll do updates then, and kind of see what we think's going to happen for the remainder of the year.
Yeah.
As well as maybe some hopeful trade deadline additions. So yeah, on to the basketball. Thunder Pacers. So
Congrats, OKC.
yeah, congrats
got one.
OKC. I'm pretty sure I said I thought they were going to win in 4,
I
and
thought
then
they were-
after
I said 6.
I said 5.
I said 6. But I think
I think mine was 5. Then it was 5. I was going to give one game to, but hey, the Pacers, they showed up.
They made it
They
serious.
showed up. So went to game 7.
Game 7.
Went to game 7. Guess Halliburton had he had an injury, a lingering injury going into the final game, and it ended up tearing his Achilles,
And
which
was
is
suggested that he
terrible.
should not
but-
play because they
Yeah, because of that. But look at it in his shoes. It's like
He has-
you
No, I
have
mean,
a
yeah,
calf strain.
has
It's
to.
like can you imagine the bullshit he would hear of, oh, we lose this game, you said you didn't want to play, because I mean, who knows if you're ever going to get back to that spot. So
Yeah.
I don't blame him for playing or wanting to play. I mean, it's a terrible injury. That's
And we know I don't like him, but I'm not wishing it because you texted me about it. When he said, I was like, I'm not smiling. I said, I feel bad for the kid, tearing his Achilles. Like,
no, it's a common injury this year. I mean,
Three guys went down all number 0. It
Yeah.
was Dame, Jason Tatum, and Halliburton, all with Achilles.
Yeah.
But like the calf strain was also what KD dealt with when the Raptors won, because he had the calf strain, and then he went out there and played, blew his Achilles out.
Yeah.
So like
he blew his foot game.
If you have a calf strain, you go play. If you're going to tear your Achilles within 2 weeks.
Yep.
Like,
so
just,
sit it out.
So
yeah, sit it out.
You're either sitting out the whole next year, or you're sitting out the rest of the playoffs. I don't blame Halliburton one bit. It's the NBA Finals. This Game 7. Like, you got to go out there and show out there for your team. Try and get it done.
Up. So hey, and shout out to you, because most people wouldn't do that, but it's when you're putting your team on your back and trying to win one.
And even when he went down, like, you thought Pacers believed too that their squad was good enough to stick with them, because even in the other previous series, Halliburton, Siakam would come in there, Naismith would carry a little bit.
TJ McConnell,
freaking insane with that
off the bench,
And he'd come in there and score. He scored like 18 in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Pacers are up at halftime.
Yeah.
After Halliburton went down, they were still up at half, and then they got.
And then after that, it was just McConnell in the third quarter, and OKC, the whole team was we're good. We'll take care of it now.
But I mean, Pacers gave them a run.
They did.
No one betted that, or no one on the betting market thought that they were going to give them a run.
No,
and it took it to Game 7. So
I mean, no one would have thought these two teams would have made it to the finals at the beginning of the year anyway.
I think the Thunder were probably like favorites out of the West, because the West wasn't necessarily super strong, and they had a good run at it last year.
Yeah,
it was like pretty much between them and the Nuggets at the beginning of the year. And I mean, they held up there, and they were the best team in the league, I think, right? Yeah, 68-14.
Well, like the Rockets were the 2 seed. No one was talking about that. They were just like, "Oh, that's right. They happen to be the 2 seed." Yeah. When did that happen? Like,
but it's not the big teams everybody talks about. Everybody talks about the Mavericks, because this was when the season started. Luka, they were just Kyrie, and exactly. So it's like they weren't talking about these teams, maybe OKC, but for the most part, they weren't talking about the Pacers.
No,
they would be like, hey, they'll be an 8 seed.
Boston was supposed to run away with the East.
Or the Knicks, and the Sixers were supposed to be a good team too, but they didn't happen. But with all those injuries, Tatum out. It was late this year, so he'll be basically out all next year.
All year.
Halliburton's out all next year. Dame Lillard's out all next year. So it's wide open in the East. It was already kind of wide open anyway, but even more so now. So what are your thoughts?
Cleveland had a really good team last year. I don't think they lost anyone. So I mean, they may be like the favorite out of the East.
Yeah.
Them and the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks too. They finally got a coach.
Yep.
Congrats, they got a coach.
Oh, not gonna burn you guys out?
I know.
I was loving seeing all those updates of them requesting to interview every head coach, and then everyone just saying no.
Dude, they were interviewing coaches that were literally hired by. I'm like, what are we doing? Stop!
It's almost like they're
asking those guys. They're not going to sit there and go, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go interview and leave a contract I'm already on."
Yeah, they almost had to get back to Tibbs. They almost ran out of options to bring him back. Yeah, I mean, he probably would have accepted it. To be honest, why not?
And they got Jordan Clarkson. So
can you imagine that? Going back to your ex. It's like, hey, so
just let
you're like, turning your. I screwed up. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. The East might be a little wide open next year.
Probably the one. If the Sixers stay healthy.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, that's what I was going to get at. What do you think? Do you think the Sixers actually have a shot at? Boston's always the team that knocks them out. So if
I mean, they still got talent though too, right?
But are they going to
move off with their guy? They still got Jaylen Brown. They still got they lost Porzingis, right?
They lost Porzingis, and they also lost Holiday.
Yeah, Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday, yep.
But they still have
White.
Derek White.
Derek White.
And then Peyton Pritchard can shoot threes. Jaylen Brown, obviously, he was.
Yeah, but what's that team without Tatum? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's so different, but we can't bank on MB being healthy for the full year.
No, we can't. But what I was saying is, say they are healthy, we might be able to make a run.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a lot of ours is centered around MB going to be healthy.
Yeah.
So and if Paul George is going to focus on the pod or
Yeah, I mean, well, so a lot of the Paul George stuff, if Embiid's on the court, a lot of him just kind of is in the background, the shadows, because you're going based off of Embiid. You're running the whole offense through Embiid, and what you have Paul George for is basically to be that outlet to where Embiid drives like he loves to do, which I absolutely hate. But then he can dish it out to Paul George or Tyrese and them. But it all is kind of
and you
centralized
guys should have
around.
McCain healthy.
Yeah, McCain's going to be healthy. Hopefully, Maxey's back healthy. They just drafted third overall, VJ Edgecombe. I like this kid.
Yeah, he's a banger.
But it's like he has heart. He actually wants to
Yeah.
play defense, and it's like he's like gritty. Like
He had 28 points in his summer
his
league
up
debut,
against the Jazz. Yeah,
college plus, whatever.
but still, it's
Yeah.
like at least what I didn't want. I didn't want Ace Bailey. Like
yeah,
Ace
so
Bailey didn't want you guys.
Ace Bailey didn't want anybody.
Probably only one of the Knicks, to be honest.
Probably. Yeah.
So he pissed every team off, and then
Right. I mean, it's a fall 32.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We
It's
didn't
like
have a first round.
I wasn't sold on him in the first place just because I was like, how do you have two top 3 talents
Yeah.
projected and you can't even take fucking Rutgers to the NCAA tournament?
right.
Like, give me a break. Like, how good are these guys actually? So
And that's what's so confusing. That's what's always confusing with me about the NBA draft. There's always some prospect they got touted, and then he doesn't make that tournament. And I'm if you're.
Well, we've already ran that. It's been Ben Simmons.
Right,
it's been Markelle Fultz.
Yeah.
It's like the Sixers have been bit by this damn thing multiple times. So it's like,
as good as you say, you should be able to carry a squad.
I was just waiting for them to take Ace Bailey because, even Dylan Harper I wasn't sold on, but at least the kid looks like he's supposed to be good. So the Kings take him too. So Cooper Flag 1, or Spurs, I'm sorry. Flag 1, and then Harper 2. So, that leaves Ace Bailey there for the Sixers. I was just waiting for them to take him. So the fact that they took VJ, like, hey, give me a kid to actually look like watch.
If a player denies doing a workout for you.
He denied it for everybody.
Like,
but I'm like,
don't be on our team.
Who are you though?
Yeah.
Like, right. So I'm glad that they didn't take him. I mean, he didn't look too happy. Like the Jazz.
Good luck in Utah, brother.
Yeah, he didn't look too happy that he went there. So you know what? Kudos. Have fun, bud. So yeah, other big NBA news. Durant worked himself into another trade. This guy's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably the list of like teams that he hasn't played for.
He basically made the jersey rainbow.
Oh, there you go.
Him and Shaq are on it.
The jersey rainbow.
Yeah, well, depending if you use the Seattle Supersonics would be good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got that. You got the Golden State with the blue or
the
yellow.
Suns with the
OKC,
orange. Yep.
Suns, and now red with Houston.
There you go. Gotta collect them all.
And he was with the Nets. He got traded to them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
But I mean, honestly, like KD is one of the best players in the past 15 years of basketball.
Would you wanted the Sixers to go up and get him, or go after him?
I don't think. Nah. I just don't think it works well for us. I mean, obviously he's a star, but I just think it would be a terrible idea with the media.
It's the same. It's the same thing we would have done with Paul George. It's like, all right, so we have 3 of the oldest guys in the freaking league.
Yeah. I just don't think it makes sense.
They thought about the Knicks. The Knicks were mentioned too, and then I don't think he wanted to go. Or no, he wanted to go there at one point. They didn't want him at the point that he wanted to come.
Yeah.
And so
what was the trade details
for the Houston trade?
Yeah.
Okay,
7
teams.
17 trade.
Which is first time.
Here, hold on. Let me go get another beer.
So what we got? Well, obviously the Rockets got Durant and Clint Capella. So Clint Capella's returned to Houston. The Suns, in return for that, got Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks.
I fucking hate Dylan Brooks.
Yeah,
he's such a cunt.
Yeah.
So those two are.
Well, he's one of those guys that just like loves to get under people's skins, and
because the other guys, the other 3 players seem to be people who were drafted. Common, Rasheer Fleming and Kobe Gray. And
Gray was on. He was on Kentucky.
Okay, and then they got 2 second-round picks for way years later. So
yeah.
Gotcha.
The Nets
2026 and 2032.
Yeah. Which second-round picks in the NBA get tossed away?
Oh yeah,
they just throw them out.
Yeah.
The Nets just got 2 picks: 2026 second-round pick, 2030 second-round pick. The Warriors got Alex Tui, which was their draft pick. So this was like a draft night trade.
So this is probably one of those things where it's like they had to make the money work. So that's where all of the 7 teams come in.
Yeah, like the Hawks got a David Roddy and then Cash. The Lakers got
so it's a bunch of salary dumps.
A bunch of salary dumps. Another draft pick, more cash. And the Timberwolves got Rocco Zarowski, which is another draft pick, and then 2 picks and a cash. So it's mostly just. It's still insane that because you could not do a 7-team trade in a video game. You could never.
I think they said this was the largest amount of teams involved in one trade in NBA history,
Yep.
which makes sense because that's fucking insane.
I mean,
The most
three
years-
people's already
the
pulling up.
most
Like,
years three.
yeah.
I'm saying is Daryl Morey, where you at, man?
That's nuts.
Throw your hat in the ring, dude. Get in there.
Yep.
It's something.
Yeah,
No, we'll see what that
number of
does. I
teams.
mean, they're over on the west side. Who cares? But we'll see what we got a Knicks guy on the pod and some Sixers guys, so we'll see what the East looks
It
like.
would have been very exciting for the Sixers to go out and get Durant. Like that would have been like, oh shit, we got KD. Like that's incredible. But I just think it wouldn't have worked. Like,
Well,
the way
speaking
that
of
the team
old
goes through a
guys
season
that
anyway,
like
I don't.
like to trade themselves, I keep hearing rumors that LeBron's looking to get traded from the Lakers.
Leave the King's name out your mouth.
Yeah,
Well,
he picked
you
up
want
his
him to
option.
come to Philly?
No,
He picked up his
wouldn't.
option for $52 million, and then they got to pay Luka, and now he's complaining about the roster may not be constructed well enough to run the playoffs. I'm like, well, they got to pay you two like $50 million each.
Yeah, $100 million. What do you think?
What do you want the rest
He's
of
going to
them
end
to
up
do?
in Cleveland again.
Yeah, probably.
King in return.
They're the only ones that can afford him because they're a bunch of draft.
Yeah.
And people
Get,
wonder
get
why
the
he
banner
annoys.
back up on the building.
And you wonder
King
why
is
he
back.
annoys the fuck out of me because of shit like that. That's exactly that's part of it right there. It's just like, dude, just you're on the fucking Lakers. Why do you like? It's just
He's upset. They sold the team to not him.
Yeah.
He wants team.
He runs.
He wants team to be good. Take less money. I mean, freaking Brady did that shit.
Brady did that for
Yeah,
years.
exactly.
I mean, LeBron obviously doesn't.
He's not hurting for fucking money. Why do you need fucking 52 million?
52 million, exactly. Yeah.
All you're doing is like hurting your team.
So isn't there something that if you have like a certain amount of statistics, you qualify for certain deals? So I think he has to get paid a certain amount anyway.
It's like what the NFL does the franchise tag. Like you get that much, because
top five.
He's like eligible for like a super max every year because the stats are so good. But I just don't know how that works if like he were to try and decline any of that,
or to take less. Like,
I don't know how that works, but like, I mean,
but you can't take that money though and then say like, oh, I don't know if we're gonna.
I don't think we're gonna be good this year.
I think also Reeves even denied because he wants a deal, and I'm like, settle down. Like you're only good because you play on that team. Otherwise, I don't know how you would.
I don't know, man. He might
maybe not, but
he's scrappy, high IQ, high motor.
Sounds like somebody.
He's
TJ McConnell.
What else is the white superlative? He's a gritty guy. He plays defense.
TJ McConnell.
Kirk Heinrich. There you go. There's a throwback name.
So we'll see what the Durant trade ends up. I think it's just he was tired. Phoenix.
I mean, plus, like we just said,
Phoenix was a disaster.
They were the 2 seed, and now he slides in there. Is like, hey, you guys are doing pretty good. You just need me. We'll give it home. Like,
exactly. So, he's been riding. He's been riding those coattails.
And they signed
like every year. It's like Golden State. Oh, let me go jump on to Golden State. Let me go jump onto Phoenix. So, I guess Sixers news. Kyle Lowry's back for one more year. Kelly Oubre opts into his deal, so they'll both be back. I like Oubre.
I think he's fine. He's a good player.
Yeah. And Lowry,
I don't care for Lowry.
I mean, he's just old.
But we've got so many guards.
I was scared to say that.
Yeah, that's the difficult thing.
Bringing in Kyle Lowry back, you still have McCain coming back next year.
I mean, he is a veteran. Has a ring.
That's what I like.
So I kind of get just keeping a guy like that around.
And wasn't there something like him and McCain last year? Like McCain kept doing a stupid fucking TikTok thing.
And Lowry hated it.
Lowry's always like giving him shit. So like maybe he's just a good clubhouse guy. So. Don't expect him to be on the court.
Plus, Lowry's really or McCain's really focused on his nail polish.
Yeah. Hey, learn that from Caleb Williams.
So some people be paying.
Yeah, but McCain has like actual brand names though. I think Caleb Williams just does it. McCain's got like a whole line.
Maybe Caleb had
Caleb's mom owns like
nail
salon.
Yeah.
There was a whole thing.
But McCain's got like actual stuff coming out like and has them named like for basketball funds. Like
endorsing.
I mean, yeah.
Gotta get paid.
Win the title next year, we'll all show up with some fucking fingernails.
Fingernail Brock won't.
Fine, Brian and I will show up.
Sorry, I can't do it. I'm not being fucking this.
If the Sixers beat the
Knicks, there you go.
Okay, there you
then
go.
Brock,
I'll do that then. Yeah, there you go.
Next, way too early prediction that will definitely forget it out.
Oh yeah, and it's like the Knicks and the Sixers aren't going to make it at all.
Yeah.
Be competing for 1-2 in the draft. So moving on to hockey, the Panthers they repeated against Edmonton. So I guess bringing this whole back to the Flyers, one of their goaltenders, Mr. Bob's Sergei Bobrovsky, ex-Flyer. They trade him for because I think at the time they had Ilya Brizgalov, and they were like, "Oh, this Russian's going to be our next."
Yeah.
So come to find out, I'm pretty sure Bobrovsky went to was it the Blue Jackets or there was
Yeah.
another team, and he was
won the
there,
season
and he
at the Blue Jackets.
yeah, and then he goes to Florida, and he's won 2 cups back to back, and I'm like, there was your freaking like they've haven't
Hall of Fame number now. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
insane.
they say that oh yeah we can't ever get a goalie. I'm like, well maybe it's because you let the guy go. I mean, it's
The other guy from the reserve goalie for Edmonton was also a previous Flyer. I forgot his name. I can't think of what's out my head, but he had also played for the Flyers as well. So it's like we're just out there
Yeah.
at a goalie factory. You
Yeah.
just don't keep them.
well the problem is they don't have a defense in front of them. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot of it.
either way, so yeah, the Panthers ended up going back to back against Edmonton. Draft happened. The Flyers had 6 overall pick. They took Porter Martone, right wing, and then they traded up with the Penguins to number 12 to take center Jack Nesbitt. So both these guys, they have some size. So I think
Yeah, one was like 6'5".
6'5", yeah, center. So it seems like they they wanted to try to address the center position and try to build around obviously Mitch game and
I mean Coots is
he's getting up there in age. Yeah, but he's getting up there in age too. So
I mean Konechny's still decent.
Still there.
yeah, I mean, and the Flyers also they just extended Cam York 5 years, 25 mils. So yeah,
Yeah, York's cool.
yeah. But now we'll see what the Flyers end up doing. I think the biggest hole they have is obviously
they did the trade though for the one guy.
Seegers.
Seegers.
Yeah, well, apparently that kid, he was also like top draft pick. He wasn't number 1, but I think he was up there, lottery pick or whatever they're calling it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he flamed out after like a year or two. He didn't. So maybe change the scenery. We'll see. But
yeah, welcome to Philly. So it'd be nice to see playoff Flyer hockey again.
Yeah,
it's probably one of the most exhilarating sports to watch, especially when it's playoff time when you're on the edge of your seat and anything can happen. But definitely have missed it.
But also, if we had to sacrifice them for like another Super Bowl or something, then I'm okay with that.
You're getting greedy.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to sacrifice the Flyers for the
right, Sixers.
Oh, Sixers. No, we don't need that either.
Right, I'm like Super Bowl, man.
Can we change one for a World Series, please?
Oh, there you go.
I'll take that.
I'll take that too. Yeah.
Yep, take that one for sure. So NFL news, Steelers. It's all Steelers updates.
Yeah.
So we were sitting on the edge of our seats because we had no idea where he was going to go. Aaron Rodgers finally signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So
still hope for the Vikings, man.
I know. I was going out with the whole time.
Still following the Favre plan.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it's going to push off another year. We'll see. Probably not. But anyway, so Rodgers signs with the Steelers. And then later news, Steelers traded for Jalen Ramsey and Johnny Smith. Then later to find out that part of that trade was Minka Fitzpatrick.
Dude, following that on Twitter with Adam Schefter, that was the most frustrating thing of all time.
Yeah.
Because it was like he announced that Jalen Ramsey is getting traded to the Steelers. And then 5 to 10 minutes later, he's like, Johnny Smith is included in the trade, and they're sending Minka Fitzpatrick. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because I
announced it all at once.
I posted it on our Facebook.
But that's the problem with it now. Everybody wants to be first. They want to be.
Well, I think Jalen Ramsey announced it himself, and that's when Schefter put it out that he was getting traded to Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. But they didn't know the full deal yet. It's like what it all included, or like picks or any kind of compensation yet.
Yeah.
And then it came out later on that Minka Fitzpatrick, which is a pretty big piece in their secondary right now, getting shipped away back to Miami, and now Jalen's going to go join Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I mean, they've had an interesting offseason, we'll say.
Got a new running mate, Slay.
Yeah,
got a new running mate out there, Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah,
and they still have Porter Jr. too, right?
Yeah,
Porter's son.
Yep, and then, I mean, they go out, they got DK, they traded for him. They trade Pickens away, so it's I don't know. It's like you take these pieces, put them over here, and you just bring in older pieces.
Go get Kenny Pickett back, man.
Yeah,
go bring him back.
Yeah, he's going to be in Cleveland.
5 years.
That whole division is. I mean, it's mostly going to be the Ravens. doing the thing because I don't know what the Steelers are going to do. Like
it
they're
depends on what Rodgers is, right?
Yeah,
and
that's
he's
100% what
also
it
going to be
is.
playing against the NFC North. So he's going to play Packers, Bears, Vikings, where they thought he's going to go.
Lions,
So like they're talking about like, oh, at least he gets to play them and own them again. I'm like, is he going to own them in Pittsburgh? Like,
Never
And
know.
then there's a lot of talk with TJ Watt's not very happy. with
right, and
his
they lost
deal.
lost Najee Harris, who was having 1,000 yards quietly every time. So
Yeah.
If
So
you
I
add
don't know.
enough games this season, everybody's gonna get 1,000 yards.
well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
But no, I hear about the TJ Watt stuff too, and it's like, do the Eagles make a run after?
Yeah, there's no chance.
And
No chance.
no,
I love it. That would be fucking.
I mean,
insane.
What would you give up?
There's
I mean,
no
that's the thing. I was just, Nolan Smith. No, I'm okay.
well, so yeah,
Hold on.
that's
You would
actually
not give up Nolan Smith for TJ Watt.
no, I mean I would, but it's still like a big because I don't think it would just be Nolan. It would be
Nolan and picks.
big
Yeah.
first round picks
It'd
for
be a
TJ
No,
Watt.
like what I was seeing was Nolan Smith in a mid round for TJ Watt.
It'd have to be more.
It'd have to be.
It'd have to be
Dude,
at
we have all
least
those
one
picks
first
that we
round.
have coming up.
Yeah,
it'd be
but
all those.
so he already wants out. He's like TJ Watt's he's already paid.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to cover his salary.
Yeah.
So they're also getting a guy that's on his rookie contract. I think under control for maybe 1 or 2 more years before he's getting paid. So if you look at it, Smith. If you look at it from the Eagles' perspective, it's like, yes, you're paying a lot more for TJ Watt. TJ Watt is a hell of a better player than Nolan Smith.
Oh,
But contrary to that, do you give up on Nolan Smith, who had a really good year last year? Maybe not saying he's TJ Watt, but, not costing as much as TJ Watt. Giving
plus you got to pay Jalen Carter.
Right.
very
Well, you're going to have to
soon,
eventually
so-
pay for him also. So
Right.
it's kind of like pulling that money up a little bit, but I'm not saying Nolan Smith's going to make anywhere near what TJ Watt makes.
Yeah.
But it's
TJ Watt's he's gonna make what like Myles Garrett makes.
the problem that I saw with it or see with it is it seems like the Eagles are not in a position. They're not under the mindset that they want to win this year. They want to be competing for the longevity, which is kind of apparent with what a lot of the moves they made
Like
in
a
the offseason.
dynasty.
They didn't go out and like entertain the Myles Garrett thing. They could have went out and signed, some of the, free agents, their own free agents, to try to, run it back again. But I think they're trying to be right. I think they're trying to be smart, and we're not going to load up again just for this year. Let's, try to position ourselves to where we can compete over the next 4 or 5.
No, I mean, honestly, TJ Watt is not an idea for me with the Eagles. Like, that just doesn't make sense.
It would just be
it'll never happen.
would.
Couldn't complain about it, but
if it happened, that would be fucking insane.
Right.
Like, it won't. It's just that, hypothetical out there that I'm sure Eagles fans are running up through Twitter about.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's
bullshit
insane. But
makeshift trades. They think
it won't. It's not realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, for Pittsburgh, if they're going to trade TJ to a team, an NFC team makes sense. An NFC team that you don't necessarily play this year makes sense. So
yeah, I just don't think that it.
Yeah,
it would never.
But also, they brought Rodgers in to. I mean, he's not going to do it, but they brought him in there to get whatever they can out of him to try to make.
We're going to try to win this year.
And then if you send Watt off, you're just telling the team like, well, why'd you even bring in Rodgers old ass then?
Right.
I mean, you're doing the same thing though, right? Because you're trading Pickens away, you're bringing in DK.
Yeah.
You bring in Jalen, you send Mika. Like they're doing the swaps pretty much everywhere, right?
Yeah,
it's just the most confusing offseason of all time because who knows what their actual game plan
Plus,
is.
they got the new coach. Or no, they don't. Sorry,
No,
they have the offensive coordinator.
I was going to say, I don't think he's ever going to lose his job.
I meant offense. Yeah.
But it's just like their off season is just so confusing right now. I don't know what they're doing, and we'll see what it's pretty much just banking on Rodgers. Like, what's Rodgers got?
Yeah,
we saw last year in New York, he wasn't great.
He was coming off of an Achilles injury. Go figure.
Yeah,
but, yeah, and it's one of those things where with the Jets, okay, is it just the Jets that bad?
I mean, they have better weapons than he does in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but again, it's the Jets.
Yeah,
so maybe it's just because of that. So
he's going to be playing on grass in Heinz Field.
Yeah, not turf.
Yeah, he's back out to the shitty elements. Like
the only turf he's going to play on is Detroit and
Minnesota. Yeah. So
I think because all the AFC North teams are outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's. Yeah, I'm just glad it's finally over, right? Like, it's finally over. Rodgers is there, but
all right. So we want to talk about it next week.
I mean, like the Jalen Ramsey pickup, like that's a big signing, but he hasn't been lockdown like he had before.
Right.
When he was on the Rams, like he was the premier cornerback when he went to the Rams. Went to Miami, hasn't been as good as he was. It might just be that they're not throwing his way. He didn't have the numbers that he did previously with Los Angeles Rams. So I mean, he knows what he has left either, too.
Yeah,
Right?
well,
I mean,
who knows
and
what Slay has?
I mean, that's
I
the same.
mean,
I was
there's a
just
lot
saying,
of guys.
we love Darius Slade, but we don't know what he's going to do there.
Yeah, I mean, when we saw him at the end of the year, he was getting fucking toasted out there. But like, luckily, like
the
we
playoffs,
had
he kind of locked it
safeties to
in.
kind of lock it in, and
Yeah.
now they're shipping away their premier safety to bring in Joe Ramsey. So again, we'll see.
Yeah, it's just interesting. So
They're gonna get what's the Tomlin always goes 8-8 or
9-8. Yeah,
Always
all of this
always
just to
is
go 9-8.
winning
Yeah.
record all the time. Yeah, never had a losing season, and it's like, who cares? You don't.
So we'll see.
In other news, Justin Tucker suspended 10 games. So
Yeah.
obviously, and the Ravens obviously cut him prior to. So we actually looked this up before the pod, but he can serve the 10 games without being on a team as a free agent. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if week 11, even week 10 or whatever, if there's an injury with a kicker at some point.
I mean, honestly,
someone's going to bring
just
him on.
grab him just to get him.
Yeah.
I'd say the only team that would sign him would be Cleveland, but they like having that stuff on the roster.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, Pittsburgh could get him.
Right? Yeah. Right.
I mean, they didn't hurt him for a kicker, but
Yeah.
funny.
So no, it definitely would. And I guess speaking of funny, Mr. Bryce Huff had a funny quote.
I don't have it up anymore.
His tenure with Philly was pretty hilarious. But basically, Bryce Huff, he gets traded to the 49ers, and he made a comment about his time in Philly, basically saying that
I got it up now. I got it. Yeah. So he said, there's a plethora of things that went down. I don't want to get into specifics. Being in the league for 5 years, I kind of knew what it felt like for me to be in a good situation. I got to look out for myself and do what I think is best. I kind of knew where it was headed fairly early into the season, probably even training camp, if I'm being honest. So when everything popped off, I was like, yeah, let's get them. So he wasn't vibing with Fangio.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever, dude. Or Fangio, sorry. I always thought Fangio, but whatever, dude. This guy can stop talking.
Clearly, he wasn't on Fangio's side. And it's not the first person that we've seen that happen to. Devin White also, same kind of thing.
Yes.
If you're getting outplayed by rookies, just because you have a big number behind your name or on your contract, it doesn't matter. Like, you're going to sit or you're just going to, like, he was a healthy scratch in Super Bowl.
Yeah. So that's where he also said that he knew a trade wasn't going to happen during the season because he was a high profile signing.
Right.
So he was aware that he wasn't going to get traded, but it's also like, but he just performed.
Right. And it's like
that's system, dude. Yeah.
Or do what you got to do. And I don't know if a lot of that was maybe he just didn't want to, or because I think, or just not performing, I mean, it's kind of hard to not be able to perform when you have a Jalen Carter next to you.
He might
or
get a Kepler, he might get a Kepler out there saying, I'm not getting plenty playing time. So
that's true. Yeah. He's only playing, on offensive downs.
So. But I mean, honestly, good for him. Like he's over there in San Fran. He's with Salah.
He's reunited. Yeah, so he's going to have 15 sacks, and we're going to be like, oh my god, why we let him go? No, yeah, exactly.
There's always that one guy out there that's like, we should have kept him. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah,
every time on Twitter, I'm just like, go away, stop.
But it's like, so you can't find a role on a Super Bowl winning defense. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Especially a defensive line that swaps people out. So how are you not getting snaps?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just
they had Brandon Graham come off of a torn tricep to tear it again.
Yeah.
Like,
you can't get out there for
Nolan Smith tore his tricep too, right? In the Super Bowl, or tore something.
Or tore something in here. But he could feel it. Yeah. But he still played. He's still went out there.
So I mean, good riddance. So have fun in San Fran. But just be another one of those San Fran guys that just can't stand. So I mean, that's all the football news I had. What do you got in the mailbag?
Yeah, so this is a little outdated. You kind of touched on it earlier. So Kevin sent this one in at the beginning of June. So he said, "Evening, gents. I had a few beers and thought it was a perfect time to bash on the Phillies. They're not looking great lately with Harper, the Cubs killer, going on the IL, and just overall not having a great year. What are your thoughts on the month
killer?
Of June?"
I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Cubs killer.
Kevin is well aware of what the Cubs do against the Phillies. So he says, obviously, you all will crush the Cubs. You will go 0-9 and then sweep us. I've come to terms with this. With a tough June and underperforming squad, how about a way too early trade deadline prediction? Think you'll panic buying to sneak into a playoff spot or do some selling? Part two of this is for the Philadelphia Union. This obviously is a month old. So the apparently 6 of the squad are former Union players that went to the U.S. men's national team. So their academy does pretty well. They also have a plethora of players that called up to the respective national spots for different continent tournaments. Overall, the Union sits still 4 points clear in the East and 2 points in the Supporters Shield after last disappointing tie with Dallas last weekend, and Dallas being down a man over the red kite. Sincerely, your league fan, Cubs early. What he says. So at least he kind of predicted that the Phillies were going to, win the series.
2 or 3. So
he
righted the ship a little bit. I was worried after that Pirates sweep.
For the trade deadline, I don't have names specifically on who I think they'll get. Maybe we'll touch on that.
Well, we covered a little bit of like what we thought, and our like a couple episodes ago, I went down. I think it's going to be bullpen. It's going to be bullpen.
It's got to be bullpen. It's got to be outfield.
I keep seeing that the Pittsburgh thing with Bednar and Bednar and Santana.
Yeah.
I think one or both.
If they got both, that'd be crazy. Like, that would show like they're really trying to do something if they got both those guys.
And it's like I don't think it's going to cost you a ton either.
So I don't know when this came out, but Wheeler says he's done after 2027.
Yeah,
right.
He said that.
That's pretty much a message to man is saying, let's fucking win right now.
Well, that's what after that,
let's go get it right now.
If you think about it, you have Schwarber. This is the last year of his deal. JT, last year of his deal. You have Casty for another 2 years. this year and next year.
Too.
So it's like Rangers also free agent. I think Lazard is
also.
No, I think you have him on control for 1 or 2 more years.
Yeah.
But either way, it's like you have these guys that you're not going to pay them all.
Yeah,
they're not going to pay them all. I also don't want them to go out and pay them all. I mean, we talked about Schwarber before. It's I love Schwarber, but it doesn't make sense to extend him long term.
I think like a 3-year deal with Schwarber would make sense if he's willing to sign for that low amount of years. The JT one is what I'm worried about. Right.
That's the one I was.
He has just not been performing this year. He's great defensively still.
I mean, I did look at it. If you look at the last month, he's batting .292 average wise over June.
Okay, so he's stepped it up.
He is turning it up a little bit. He's still not the JT of old,
but he's not producing offensively
but defensively, like that might just be worth it in my mind because you don't have anybody behind him.
So these pitches too, right?
one or two guys, 1 or 2 years just to have a defensive catcher to hopefully be able to. I think they have kids in the low minors that they're high on, but it's at least it'll give you. It's everybody. Look at freaking Nola's splits with
Marshawn.
Right,
it's crazy like how much better these pitchers are with him. So it's like just having that comfortability and hopefully not costing you a fortune.
Yeah.
Like, yes, okay, let's bring JT back. Casty, I think he's going after his contract.
Yeah,
so it's like you basically have a 2-year span, but I agree with you. Go after it now.
Yeah. You got to.
Yeah. And it's like the prospects, like we talk about it all the time. Prospects are prospects until they actually come up to the big leagues and perform. I mean, how many times have we seen the Draybecks?
Yeah.
These guys from way back in the 08 to 12 run. It's like most of them never even panned out.
So like Belmont, when they sent him to Seattle to bring Clipley back, right? Like Carlos Carrasco to send him.
I mean, Carrasco's the only guy that's actually done something. Like he was
never
good.
Been an ace.
He's just been around for a long time.
Yeah, and then I mean, like the J.A. Haps for trading him away. The only one I think recently, like Logan O'Hoppe, is a good catcher.
Yeah, he's actually been pretty good for.
But like Mickey Maniac.
Yeah,
that's the other side of the
DFA.
Like that wasn't terrible, right?
I mean, the fact that they drafted him 1 overall is just absurd.
He hasn't even been picked up since he's been DFA. Like he's just nowhere.
Yeah, he went to.
He was with the Colorado. He might still be with them.
I thought
he might have been cut from there.
He might have been.
Okay, maybe
they might have DFA'd him.
But anyway, like regardless, again, like kind of what you're saying is a prospect's only a prospect until they show up and do the work, right?
Yeah.
And if you can go get a name right now to help your team, be even more successful, go do it.
But and then the other thing, it's like you think about the Wheeler thing, 2027.
Yeah.
Now, okay, this may actually work out in their favor because Phillies would look at it and be like, okay, well, we know we only have 2 more years and he's going to retire.
Yeah.
Do we extend Ranger now because of that? As
Yeah.
opposed to relying on, okay, well, Wheeler may come back with another 3-year extension, and then now you're stuck high and dry because he retires in 2027, and you miss out. Ranger goes somewhere else. Like,
Yeah.
we just went over the stats of his June. Like, when the guy's healthy, he's fucking great.
He's 35.
His
though.
issue-
So baseball age, he's.
Yeah,
we don't even know if he makes that 27. That's gonna mean he says he's retiring. We hope. You don't even know if he's gonna be the same caliber.
I mean, he's
all
still
the way.
throwing 97,
No,
98.
no, I know, but
now,
I'm saying, like, look at Nola though, was pitching every 5 days, and now we haven't seen him since June or May. So yeah,
But I mean, Nola is not necessarily like an arm issue.
No,
because it's just his is pretty much just a command issue.
I'm just saying they
he
can't.
doesn't
They've been
throw.
already getting stagnant, just hoping that the same roster, continues to do it, and so they have to try to win now because of all of that stuff that we're saying.
Right, and it's like everybody says, let's go get a left fielder, let's go get a bat. One bat is not going to help this team win.
No.
What they need is, as we mentioned before, and I keep saying this, but it's like, as I mentioned before, the offense needs to show the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like the big ticket price guys you have, Bryce Harper, Carl Schwarber, Castellanos, like show the fuck up.
In the beginning of the year, when they said, even when Harper said it, the daycare people, he said, those kids got to grow up.
Yeah.
And Stott is clearly not like at all.
He started off well.
And now, like we said, he's down to 8th in the lineup.
Now
he's
Bone slumped for the first few weeks, but he's been pretty good.
Yeah,
since May 1st, he's been actually pretty good.
No, as I was saying, he had his slump.
Yeah.
Stott's going through right now.
Stott's still,
I mean, he had a bad June.
Yep.
But it's you've got Rojas, Marsh out there. Like you've got
those are the additions that you need to try to upgrade at.
Yeah.
Like Marsh has never panned out to what they wanted him to be when they traded for him, and Rojas, it's like
we know the bat's never going to be that.
That's the problem. It's like. Like you see glimpses where it's like he's bunting to get on and stuff. And like, why don't you just try to do that more? Or why?
Yeah, but then we watch other teams with center fielders who are just as good defensive, but then they're hitting it all over the place.
Yeah,
I mean, even Springer's doing, and he's older, but if we had a guy like him, we'd be loving center field.
Yeah. So the other center fielder that I keep hearing about is Duran. So does Boston trade Duran? But what do you have to give up to get Duran?
I think
Duran's a lot because he's under your control for 3-4 years.
Saying you'd have him for a long time though.
So I mean he'll be your center fielder for a while, and you can extend him even further.
And you would never have to switch him out. It would just be every day he plays.
Right. Yeah. So, I think. I mean, to your point, yes, you got to make a run these next 2 years, especially with the core that you have. Not saying that they can't build another core around Harper and Turner because they are signed for so long. But, you have a window with these guys that have had this run. Let's try to capitalize here. And if it's, if it costs you some prospects, especially maybe a Painter or an Abel,
I don't want to give up on Painter just because of the hype that I've heard about him. Yeah. I'd be fine with moving Abel, but if you can go get someone like Chapman, like Aroldis Chapman has been fucking lights out this year. Yeah. He's been so good. Emmanuel
and it's just a 6-month rental.
You get those guys for half a year and then it is what it is, but it's just like I feel like you got to do something to where that bullpen that you have right now is not going to work.
Yeah.
In the postseason, if we continue on the run, which we should, make the postseason.
Right, exactly. So Chapman, Duran, can you combo a big package to get both of them? I mean, what's
like Justin Crawford and McAble or Aiden Miller?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing,
baseman, right? They just traded their baseman away. I mean, they have Bregman.
Yeah, but that's a lot for Duran, because I'm looking at
one Duran.
No, I mean,
I don't like the way he plays outfield. I think he's not a great glove. I mean, I know Boston has the weirdest fucking dimensions of any
outfield
you can ever imagine. I just don't think that he is that guy.
Right.
I'm not the biggest Duran guy. I know he struggled. He had some words with fans that he was talking shit about.
Yeah, he had some mental issues.
I don't think that he would be a perfect fit for Philly, especially if you're giving up one of our top tier tickets.
And it's
prospects. Sorry.
Right. And it's they're talking about Crawford, he plays the outfield. Can he play center field?
He's probably a better bat than Rojas at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
but he's also probably 20 years old, kind of like Rojas was 3 years ago when we called him up. So
right. So I mean, the good thing at this point is it seems like March is hitting a little bit better.
yeah,
If we can get some production out of left field, that'd be great. But I mean, in my eyes, over the next 2 years, Dombrowski and the team need to rebuild that whole outfield.
Yep.
Basically every position, because once Casty goes in 2 years, I need a right fielder. It'd be nice if you had one that actually, like, how many teams can you look in baseball? Their right fielders are legitimately, they're elite players.
I mean, the Mets and Braves have Soto and Acuna.
Tucker in
Chicago.
I'm still holding out hope for Tucker in the
offseason.
offseason.
Judge a couple times and they played him in right field. So.
But it's like,
I mean, well, he
yeah.
Harper would typically be ours, but
Well, see,
I think he's fine at first, but
you can move Harper back to the outfield. I mean,
I don't think they're going to.
He's already got arm issues,
but he's not against it though.
Yeah, but he's already got arm issues. Like, I don't even want to open that can of worms of.
I would even say if we lose Schwarber, the easy answer for Harper is DH.
Well, that's why I was saying
that opens.
Give Harper a little bit more time to sit on first, and then go to DH.
Yeah,
because Schwarber's still producing the offensive power.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't want to lose Schwarber. I'm saying if we were to do it, then the easy answer is Harper, just DH.
I mean, the other thing, just contrary to what you guys are saying with Schwarber, and I'm going to keep riding this Tucker thing, but if they can go out and put Tucker in right field, and Harper plays first, and you let Schwarber walk, now that opens up to your DH to anybody.
Yeah.
A JT if you need to. I mean, his bat's not great, but if Harper needs a couple of days off, you could still have his bat in the lineup. Tucker day off. You open it up to other people, but you also open it up to where now you can also go after a first baseman.
Right, because remember before Vlad signed his deal, we were talking about that. We didn't know what the Blue Jays would do. We were saying, well, what if you got Vlad Guerrero to play first base? And then
did you see the rumor that they were talking about that Harper would have moved for Pete Alonso?
Oh, I would have hated it.
I would have fucking
hated
out if the Phillies went out and signed Pete Alonso.
Yeah,
he's
I remember hearing that.
Offensively, but fuck that guy.
I do.
Cannot stand.
Well, I wondered, because that's what we were saying, because Harper.
All right, so when they sign him in the offseason and he's our first baseman next year, what are we doing?
I'm gonna go get eaten by a polar bear.
I wouldn't hate it, because it would be like, if you're gonna do what you do and it's in our jersey, then it's okay.
No,
I do that with Cowboys players though. I absolutely hate the team, but if one of them comes over to us,
when does that happen? To Marco Murray?
It hasn't, but I'm saying there's been players of the Cowboys that he's not a bad player. He could be good here. There's been instances of that. But
the only time it's ever going to happen is Micah Parsons comes to the Eagles.
I mean, no one would hate CeeDee Lamb was wide receiver 1.
No, but I also I don't hate
douchebag like Pete Alonso.
Exactly. That's exactly it. I'm trying to think of.
We don't like Alonso.
I'm just trying to think of.
It's a hard comparison.
I mean, I'd be like Jose Reyes back in the day, another Met of, hey, Jimmy retires early. It's like, we go out and get Jose Reyes to play fucking shortstop.
We wouldn't hate Lindor playing.
No, but I don't hate Lindor. I don't hate Lindor.
I got you.
No, I would love, Lindor was great. I wanted him before the trade thing. I was before he signed with the Mets, I was like, Lindor is a great player. It's just,
I hate Brandon Nimmo more than I hate Alonso, though.
I mean, they're both kind of douchey in their sense, but I just hate the hype around Alonso.
When I get a walk.
I just hate the hype around Alonso.
That's what Alonso is. He is the most unique baseball player out of the can.
God, he's such a nerd.
He is a fucking nerd for sure. Yeah. And not in the good sense. He's just a weird person.
Yeah, he's a fucking dweeb.
Yeah, that's a better term. There you go.
That was a long-winded answer. I don't even know if we ever answered Kevin's question.
Bullpen, left field.
Yeah, we don't have.
I guess, Kev, what we're gonna do, All-Star breaks next week. We're actually gonna cover kind of what we think,
they should do.
The Phillies should do, maybe even some other teams, like what the Mets could do, or some other big additions that potentially could happen. So we'll do that, next week. So I'll answer your question then. But thanks again for the union updates. We're clearly,
God, no,
we're big fans.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. I'm sure Kevin's going to give us an update. He'll give us an update next week. So stay tuned, listeners. Kevin will give us some union updates.
They're sitting in third in the standings now.
Oh shit! They had a terrible month.
The only soccer stuff I know is
they're only 2 points.
USA team lost the Gold Cup to Mexico or something. Didn't they last the other day or something like that? Wasn't that
It was last night, I think.
last night? Yeah, it was last night. Yeah.
Clearly, we're not.
See, that's my soccer knowledge right there. Yeah.
All right, Kev, give us all the soccer updates.
Yeah.
So we'll update our listeners next week.
All right. So another mailbag we got in is from Tyler. This came back also after we last recorded. So he said, not really a question, but just a point when we were talking about kind of the batting curse. So he said that actually, like, I thought this stat was pretty wild. It said it's actually not necessarily a Madden curse, but a bigger curse that's out there is the Offensive Player of the Year awards, Offensive Player of the Year winners the following year. So 2024, Christian McCaffrey, he missed 13 games after winning it. Justin Jefferson missed 7. Cooper Kupp missed 8. I'm assuming Derrick Henry missed 9. And Thomas missed 9. So the past, 5 years?
Michael Thomas?
Yeah, it has to be with 2020 with the Saints that year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know you were doing the most recent
guy. So yeah, the Offensive Players of the Year, the next year they get hurt, apparently. So that's not a great.
That's also just NFC, right? It looks like I think they were all NFC. AFC. Okay. Yeah. Now, is that just like NFC, AFC, or is that just the overall?
I mean, the Offensive Player of the Year
would be for both leagues. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
it's interesting stat.
It is. I mean, we were already kind of worried about him anyway with the curse, let alone workload last year. So, yeah. We'll see. Hopefully not. I mean,
hopefully Saquon breaks it.
Yeah.
That's just a wild stat. I never even knew about that, right? To be honest, like when he texted, I was like, damn, that's insane. Like that's very wild.
I mean, it kind of goes hand in. Well, the other guys, how many of those guys were on the cover? Just
none of
McCaffrey.
Well, McCaffrey last year.
The other
Jefferson, Kupp, Derrick Henry, and Michael Thomas never on.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I don't know.
Yeah. But so he has a question also. So baseball moving to a pitch clock seems to be one of the better rule changes the MLB has made in the years. What's the next rule change for the MLB should make?
Oh.
So what are your thoughts on what needs to take place?
Robo-umps, 100%.
Yeah.
We are 100% behind that?
I am. Why not?
I mean, aren't they saying that the ump will still be there?
It will. They're going to call it, but I know that's going to be that would be legitimately the next one. That's what they're working through with the minors. It is. Well, it's gonna kind of go hand in hand. Like the robo umps won, but you'll be able to challenge things.
I do. And it's like where the batter can just go, "Hey, hold on."
The crazy thing is
when they do that nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're like Bohm did it earlier in the year.
I love when they toss someone dude out for doing it. He's like, "Even touch my fucking helmet." They were like, "No, you did, motherfucker. Get out of here."
So, but no, I think that's going to be the next thing. The electronic, robo umps or whatever. And the challenging, which I think is fine. They did it in the
they're still
spring training,
they're doing
the minors, but it doesn't slow the game up.
Single A, double A.
It's not like it's football where it takes 4 minutes for them to freaking determine, if two guys 2 feet.
No one complains about football games being long
because there's already so much. Well, there's already so much time that like. I can't remember what it was, but I read something somewhere of like the actual action in a football game is like
it's probably
15, 20 minutes. Yeah. As opposed to, right. Yeah. So it's like, I do agree. The pitch clock is, made the games go a lot quicker and.
They're way faster. I mean, and like, so the other rule changes, right? So like the shift, you have to have
I was glad they got rid of
defensive players on both sides of second base. They can't be, one side skewed to one side.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, like I'm trying to think of what the next rule change I would. I mean, I hate the fact that the umpires are that bad at their jobs that they have to even try and bring in technology to make an electronic strike zone. There's some umpires that are fucking very like accurate with their strike zones, but they do impact a lot of games because they just in a big situation they call a strike when you're watching on TV. You see that little box, and maybe that's what my rule would be. Team or television channels that broadcast the games can't have the fucking square.
Get rid of it.
Because then all the fans are sitting there freaking out.
Up there the whole game. They keep up there while the
NBC Sports does it.
I love it. Yeah. I love it.
But it's like that's where again, like it wouldn't be that problem if the fans aren't sitting there screaming at their TVs because they're seeing. I mean, how many times have you been to a baseball game and you're sitting on one side and you're like, Boo, that
300
was a strike.
350
Yeah.
350 feet away, and you're
Yeah.
like,
That
yeah.
was 3 feet inside.
Yeah.
And you're yelling
I
about
would have
not
swung
being
at that. Like, what are we doing?
strike. So I think that would be my rule change, is that television broadcasts cannot have the strike zone put on the television, because then the umpires
Yeah, because
actually
it's
have
like
more
with
flexibility.
football, they have the yellow line on the
Yeah.
screen the whole time, so we see it and we're like, "That's first down," and then they
Yeah.
pull
Well,
up the change. It's
yeah.
like, nope, not. Like,
Speaking of that, I'm wondering when just the NFL, they put sensors in the football to where they know
because they have sensors
where
for everything
they
else.
have it for everything
Yeah,
else.
right,
Exactly.
yeah.
And then they're
They're
getting
done
rid
the
of the chain gang.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
gone, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, the ball crosses the goal line. They know exactly when and where,
When
like
and
where
where it
everything
did,
was.
yeah,
So
exactly.
like I think that technology eventually happened. But I guess one rule that I heard about earlier this year that I absolutely don't want, and I wonder if you guys even heard about this, but have you heard about the golden bat rule that they were trying to enforce?
There's no place ever.
No, I know, but just
just pick a batter
speaking
in a
of time,
certain spot.
yeah,
Oh,
they could
yeah,
come
that
into bat
bullshit.
again.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do know what you're talking about. Yeah. That was really early on to see them. They were talking
Yep.
about it.
That's
Yeah.
the Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah,
Just to get Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge more at bats.
Yeah, exactly. So
They
no, but it's
come
like
up at any time during the game.
I would absolutely hate that if that ever became a rule.
That's
Like
video game shit.
Oh, exactly.
Real life.
Yep. So, I guess
But yeah.
I think the automatic strike zone would probably be the next thing. But if that golden bat thing ever comes about, like I would lose respect for baseball.
I didn't like when they brought the DH to the NL. I obviously can't do anything better anymore, but I have to like it because it benefits the Phillies.
I like it when we signed Harper. That makes his deal a lot better.
Yeah.
I did like the strategic aspect of not having, like, you have to do the double swap. You have to think about, you're thinking ahead as opposed to the AL, which was, always, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
So, but it's nice though, because, with the DH in there, because you have a Wheeler pitching lights out like he was on Sunday, and then you have to go, oh shit, but he's up at the plate and we're still losing 1-0, till the stop home run. They're like, do we really want him to bat in this inning? Like, if he
they would still bat, but
that's what I'm saying. But
I mean, they did it with Cliff Lee, they did it with Roy Halladay, like they all had.
I mean, there's pitchers that can hit. There's
Yeah.
pitchers that can hit. There's pitchers that can't.
Right.
So I mean,
it also, like, again, strategy. You get a guy on, you have the pitcher lay down a bunt. It's like,
I think it's insane they can't hit, because when I played, your pitcher was sometimes your best.
Your best player. Yeah.
So like, how can you not hit?
Also, to be fair, the level of baseball you played versus
I know, but I'm saying it still was your best player. That was the kid pitching every.
I've always said the same thing. I was like,
why aren't catchers the best hitters? They fucking
right. Yeah.
Why aren't pitchers the best hitters?
Yeah,
it's just not what they focus on. It's just never going to be that way anymore.
Yep.
But
so, I'm interested to hearing what Tyler thinks would be maybe a potential rule change.
Yeah. So you're electronic strike zone.
Yeah, kind of
electronic. Yeah,
and I'm get rid of the electronic strike zone.
Yeah, there's not a couple. There's not really, when I watch baseball, I think there's not many instances where I'm thinking like, whoa, what was that rule? That should be,
Yeah, I mean, the next thing they're saying is like lowering the mound. And I don't want to make it to where the hitters have all the advantages and the pitchers are just out there getting shelled.
Right, they're just told to throw them out.
How about consistent baseballs? It changed it's like one year they're like, oh, we're gonna, we want strikeouts and we want low scoring, so we're gonna change the baseball. We're gonna increase the
MLB and
the stitches and
the stitch height.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it's fun. But so just an interesting little conversation that Tyler brought up there. So
Tyler, let us know what you think. Rules changes, rule additions, what you have in your mind.
Yep. All right. That's all we had for the mailbag. So, Brock, we got some socials.
I did get some socials. Yep.
Hey, social.
So I posted a couple weeks back on our Facebook. Cal Raleigh for the Seattle Mariners, the switch hitting catcher, that he was the quickest one since Johnny Bench to have 30 home runs before the All-Star break. So I posted, hey, what an impressive feat, because it is impressive.
It is impressive.
It's history. He's doing good. So I don't know if he's a listener, Randall Knowles, but he said he had a feeling on that it was a stat for a do-nothing team, and so him and I had a little back and forth. That I was like, 30 home runs for a catcher is an impressive stat, especially when he's switch hitting from both sides. I mean, you're hitting, easily. I don't know the split, but it's It's very,
Between right and left.
between right and left, but it's very close on both sides because he's playing all the time.
I think he's only batting like 260, but
but
that's typical with home run hitters. Yeah.
But that early, and he's going to do the home run derby, so obviously it's more exciting that he can.
Now, is he going to do what Rushman did, where you go right and left?
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, but this guy was like, because he's on the Mariners and they're not doing shit, who cares? And it's like, has nothing to do with the Mariners. Now, my post was about him specifically, so I was like, it's just it was a fun little back and forth with some. I'm like, hey, so I'm like, I'll just give you stats here. And as soon as I gave the stats, he was quiet. So I was like, yeah.
No, but I think one of
drop the mic on.
Yeah, I was like,
I think another one of our listeners, John, he threw up there Felix Hernandez. And,
right.
He won the Cy Young for a not great Seattle team. And, that tends to happen. I mean, Paul Skeens this year, probably going to win a Cy Young for a do-nothing team, So it happens, especially like if you think about it, and I'm not just saying this for Cal, but, especially when it comes to schemes and stuff, teams that continuously draft high or bad, one player is not going to change their team. No. So you might have these performances like Paul is having on a do-nothing team.
Yeah. Well, and but it's still exciting to watch.
Though. Yeah, 100%. I mean,
and the Mariners were just in the playoffs like 2 years ago, right?
Cal's got Julio Rodriguez right now. But when Aaron Judge hits his 30th home run, all the MLB social media goes, Aaron Judge hit number 30. Before the All-Star break. And I'm like, Cal Raleigh has 4 more home runs than him already. Yeah. But you only care about Judge. Or
Ohtani hits a single.
I know. I love him.
Yeah, a single. Yeah.
Right. I love
Ohtani throws 4 pitches, and they're like, oh my God.
Ohtani's got 30 home runs. Back. Also, and they're like, he's amazing. Oh my God. Like, yeah. Like, I think they were saying who was going to get the 30 first, him or Judge. And I'm like, Cal has 30 already. Like, and you just don't care. Mm-hmm. I'm like, he's doing it to catcher and then switch hitter. Like, that guy.
Shout out Cal Raleigh, the big dumper. 35 bombs already, 74 RBIs, crushing.
Crush MVP numbers right there. Even no matter what team you're on, if you're doing that, you're.
I mean, it's tough because he's batting 268. Aaron Judge has 33 home runs, 74 RBIs.
Oh, yeah, Judge is clearly. I'm not him, but
just, I mean, he's in a top conference with Judge.
I mean, also, to be fair, so the do nothing Seattle team, right?
Yeah,
they're currently in a wild card spot.
Right, they're second.
They're 7. They're a half game back of the Rays and 1 game back of the Yankees.
They're second.
So this do nothing team that he speaks of is 1 game back of the elite.
And they're 7-3
New York Yankees. Yeah. So it's I don't necessarily agree with just because you don't see them on TV, it's probably due to them being on the West Coast, but they're actually competing for the playoffs.
It shows who he's a fan of.
I mean, they're up against the Astros who've been on a tear. What is their last? They're 8-2 in the last 10, but they just went on a run of NL teams. So they're 7 games back of the Astros, but they're competing for that wild card. So
no, I mean, I think it's a great accomplishment.
Right?
Dump away, buddy.
Yeah.
And that's literally all the push said was it was like 30, like already what a peak. And I was like, I wasn't saying the Mariners were like on fire. I'm just talking about, it was specifically a picture of him. I'm like, Cal Raleigh is doing it, man. He's killing the ball.
I think I heard something like the Mariners will speak out like Raleigh went poo-poo on a ball or something. Big number one.
They really lean into that spirit of that name. They're like, big number, like
he's crushing it. Good for him.
Oh
yeah. Nah. Anything else on socials?
No, that was pretty much the main interaction I got, it was just a funny one because that's what I look for. I want people to get in there and give me shit about a take I put on there or something. I'll come in there with stats and I might drop the mic on you too.
Yeah. Challenge out there.
Yep, they'll probably drop the stats on us and be like,
that's why you and I stay on.
Yeah.
Here I go.
No, exactly.
Well, that's why I always crack up where like when I used to put it on my main page all the time, and he would always come in and like something I'd say, and I'd be like,
whenever comment on it is like, and Brock's like, yep.
Yep, I'm like, this guy gets it.
So didn't have or not any noteworthy bets over the last month myself. So I think it took a little bit of a hiatus there as well.
But the last bet I placed was the Knicks Pacers series. I haven't bet since.
I probably bet on all that and still nothing good.
Yeah, no, nothing notable.
So speaking of nothing notable, my fantasy team this year, I think after the month long, I don't even know where I was, probably just continue to be here, but I'm in 9th place, 22 and a half games out. Just got finished playing with playing Cam last week. So he ends up beating me 6-4. You're sitting in third, Cam, 9 games out.
Yeah.
Torpedo Ted's just dropping dumps on us too.
I mean, honestly, like it's tough to move up a lot in these leagues unless you go like a 12-0 or
yeah. I mean, like we just talked about, ours was 6-4.
Yeah,
it's hard to make.
It's hard to catch ground,
right?
So, I mean, honestly, the biggest thing is check your fucking lineups, get your starters out there. If you got a guy on IL and they say, "Hey, he's no longer on IL," pull him out of your IL.
I was on vacation.
But yeah, I mean, it's just honestly, they turn notifications on. Yahoo will send notifications saying, "Hey, he's in your starting lineup," or he's not.
Yeah, I get hit with a lot. Like they'll have someone will have no game, so you got to swap it out, and then I'm like, shit, I almost forgot to put him back in. So like, sometimes I'll leave the guy in. I'm just like, you got no game today, but you play the rest of the week. It's like just.
So you're not doing too bad. You're currently fifth.
I could get the shit
14 games back. So
I've made some moves. Currently got a guy on my IL spot. I just haven't made a move yet with the roster because I'm kind of hanging on to him. Langoliers, I don't know what I'm going to do with him at catcher because I have Alejandro Kirk. He's actually no one else. I probably just end up dropping Langoliers. But I always get nervous with catchers because if you have a good one, you don't want to get rid of them.
I mean, that's one highlight I guess I have. I have Will Smith.
Yeah. I have Cal Riley. So I'm doing okay catching. Yeah.
But I just been kind of just sometimes like I'll be streaming starters if I need to. So like get some Ks or hopefully if I can get.
I've had a lot of IL guys.
I took Mike Trout because no one was getting him, and then he's obviously I had some time without him, but he's doing. I mean, I'm kind of stuck with Bregman right now. I'm kind of wondering, like,
I think he's on the IL, right?
Right, but it's, on the app it says it's only a 10-day, but he has not played in a long.
But I mean,
you can throw him down in the IL spot.
Right now he's on my bench. It just
you can throw him down in the IL.
No, I know. Well, I can't even get the damn thing loaded while we're sitting here. It's literally just spinning.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah,
check your line tomorrow.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean,
check
I got
mine too.
But also,
he's on the IL. You have him on the
IL. Yeah. Oh, I do. Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's right. Because I picked up the Nick Kurtz kid from. I said Kurtz. Yeah, I said Kurtz. But yeah, I picked him up from the Athletics. But I have
You don't left Jose Berries on your bench today, bro.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
5 innings, almost. Yeah, 5 innings, 1.8 earned.
Well, he has not done great since I got him. But,
see, that's my sender.
But see,
I leave him down on the bench.
I think I'm up 2-0 right now on mine. But I do have Screwball though, so I get a lot of last day victories. He pulls off a huge lead for me.
I think I want to see my splits. I might look this up. As we get into the All-Star break of my pitching during the weekly and then my batting because I do have a pretty decent pitching staff, but. I wanted to see what my numbers are.
Yeah, like there we go. Riley's not playing today. My line's finally loaded. Well, Steer was on my bench, but he did nothing.
Is there anything going on lately for you, Brian?
Yeah, it's like they're hit or miss. Like one guy will be really good one week, and then
Junior,
trash.
Oh, okay.
He's been up or down.
Yeah, I mean he's 15th overall in the season, so he's still doing well, but he hasn't put up the career numbers like he used to. Devers, we'll see.
Cruz is also another guy. It's like hit or miss.
Jordan Westbrook hasn't been great. Right?
Nah, he's been on my bench and hurt half the year. So
Plus, I have Shane McClanahan from the Tampa Bay. He's been on IL a year. It's like 60, but that's another one.
Well, I missed. We were talking about earlier. I missed Woodruff. He came back on Sunday, and I didn't like. He was on from day one.
Well, no wonder your pitching staff's good. You have Wheeler, Sanchez, Lazardo, and Abel.
Yeah. Well, Abel, I'm about to drop. So. Yeah, but I have 3 of the
4 of your starters that are actually been pitching well, and you got fucking former Phil Estevez.
Yeah, he's actually been
leading the league.
Oh yeah, Mr. Dragon Ball Z.
Yep.
Yeah, it would have been nice to keep that guy.
It would.
At this point, sure.
I was right. Is what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, if I had to choose between Estevez and Romano, like, oh yeah, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go Super Saiyan, baby.
Joe Ross.
So as we mentioned, All-Star break's coming up next week. So I think we're going to have some exciting things coming up. Monday night for the Home Run Derby. We're actually going to do a live stream. So feel free to join, send us some questions. During that time, we're going to go over kind of what we thought of the first half of the year for the Phillies, kind of maybe some other teams sprinkled in throughout, the discussion, and go over trade deadline, kind of what Kevin was asking before, what we think either the Phillies should do or others. And kind of just forecast what we think is going to happen for the rest of the year because, as you all know, we're experts in that. So if there's
Yeah.
anything you guys want us to do, anything you any hot
That's a
takes you want us to
mailbag
have,
social.
questions, whatever, just hit us up on the live stream. We'll
Yeah.
answer them live.
We'll promote it on the socials that we're going to be doing it. So Brock may be a little late.
Might be a little late, but
he'll try and make it if he
I'll
can.
try to make it.
if
Brad
not, then
will
you
be
get
here.
Yeah, my
Yep.
chickens are leaving, so
The chickies are gone. But yeah, so we'll do that next week. That'll be fun. I love the home run derby. I think it's the best sporting
all-star event. Yeah.
game event, whatever we call it anymore. I think it's the best. I love the home run derby. I remember back in the day as a kid, always watching it. Chris Berman.
Hey, next year it's going to be in Philly. We might have to do the pod at the
at
the Derb. Pod
you
at
think
the
you can
Derb.
get a seat in there, catch a ball like Tom McCarthy?
We can try.
Yeah, expensive.
I'm just saying, like,
Start saving up now.
No.
Or if we have some nice listeners who want to donate some money.
Yeah. Yeah, share the page, guys. Let's get some money out of this.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe the Phillies will put us up there. We could do a live stream from the real home run derby.
Yeah. But yeah, so look forward to that, guys. Again, always feel free to reach out. Socials, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Send us more beer suggestions.
Yes, I will be.
Brock's getting
I will be
bored.
drinking beer next pod. Next time
Nice.
I'm here, I'm just
Yep.
Mountain Dew today.
Very good. Yep. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.